Okay, so now just a quick, we're going to read our scriptures, and the scriptures are the real message, because on the script, these particular scriptures, when they say faith, when you see by faith, you can substitute that without seeing physical evidence. Without seeing physical evidence. So when it says by faith Abraham such and such, when it says by faith without seeing physical evidence, Abraham did such and such. That'll help you. Sometimes words become stale, and we say them so often that they don't sink in as to what's really being said. And sometimes you can say, people say I love you all the time, but you have to, just like today, when you guys are praying, you put intention on your words. I can tell that you were talking to somebody. And I can tell that when you were praying, you were talking to somebody like you knew who you were talking to. And that makes all the difference in the world when you're speaking and you know that who you're speaking to hears you very well. Then you're very conscientious of your words, because you're not going to just rumble off on something, just saying any and everything. No, say this thing. Say the thing, because you have God's ear. That's some high, invaluable real estate to have his ear. Now be choice. And when you have God's ear, you're always in covenant when you're talking to him, because you can't come to him. You have to come to him in absolute truth. We're already vulnerable. You're already humble, but you got to come in absolute truth, because you really can't do any of the fixing and the pushing and the next level and the birthing process and the going over the hill and the conquering. None of that hard, heavy lifting is something that you as a human being can do. So once you know who you are, and once you know who he is, and that he's not far away off in the clouds, far. He's right there when you're breathing, he's going into the breath. He's right there. He can hear you before the words finish coming out of your mouth. When you understand you're dealing with that type of spiritual integrity, then it makes you sober on your words, and it makes you conscious of your words. Then suddenly you're not worried about who's on the left and who's on the right and who can hear you. That's not the point. God hears you, has heard you. What are you saying? Meaning you have the attention of the Creator. Use your words wisely. Let your words mean something. Let your intentions mean something. And when you finish praying with him, because see, God keeps his side of the bargain, of the deal, of the prayer. What's your part? And don't forget, when you pray, when you're praying for God to do or to bless or do whatever you're asking him to do, include this in your prayer. Lord, what is my part? Show me my part. What do I need to do? He got the heavy lifting, but you might have to do something. So, because all of this by faith, so this replaced by faith, without physical evidence or seeing something with the eyeballs, or without physical evidence, because that's where you stand in too. Something happened. Every one of these people did something. This interactive, they did something, and he made the opportunity for what they did to be successful and to bear fruit. But they had to do something. They had to step into something, step over, walk into, become. And they did, every one of them. Trusted God, took him at his word. So you in his presence, you have spiritual eye. He heard you. He's hearing you. He's anticipating. And it's a thing about God's personality is he doesn't use a lot of words, because he don't have to use a lot of words, because his words mean something. Let there be light, 4 words, and then here we go. Things started to be put in balance. The universe. It took thousands of years in a day. It took time. His day, not our days. It took time, but it was done. And Same thing with your life. It'll take time, but it's done. Choose your words. When you realize that everything coming out your mouth has a ripple effect for the rest of your life, you stop talking so much and you start being real careful with what comes out your mouth. You do not murmur and complain. You don't speak ill of your children. You don't speak ill of anybody. You start praising God because that's the best place to be with your conversation. That you bless people because that's the best place to be with your actions. Because it means something. It's not blank. You don't have idle rambling. That's not that's not anything to do with where you're standing in the presence of the Lord. You don't have idle rambling. You have a conversation. And your words are weighty. There's something attached to them. And when you start realizing that there's something attached to your words, being one of God's babies, and He hears you, don't waste time asking frivolous things. Study your part. So when you have a conversation, you have done your part. You already know, okay, I'm going to do whatever He tells me to do, I'm going to do it. Whatever He tells me, stand here, do that. Tell me, whatever He tells you to do. And He has a reason. It might be something odd, something small. Like Melanie said, standing out front and passing out tracts. That might seem like a small thing, but it's not. Because if God anoints you to do it and tells you to do it, He's going to send somebody by exactly where you're standing to hear that word. It's not a wasted effort. You're not, here we go. You're not doing stuff because you're thinking of it. You're doing stuff because you're listening. You're catching it. You're catching Him. You're listening, and He might just say, stand over here and do this, or whatever He tells you to do. And it's most of the time it's going to be something unusual because it's an act of faith. It might be something unusual. So it's not going to be something where you feel absolutely comfortable. It'll be something odd. Anything like he used to tell. Tells the fire to wear a certain colored T-shirt when she would go out talking, and then told somebody else look for somebody with that colored T-shirt. So He puts God does the deals. He puts them together. So in your obedience and as you pray, be prepared to take an action on the faith part. And in these 40 verses, there was a corresponding physical action to the by faith part. Without physical evidence, without seeing any evidence that this thing was getting ready to happen, these other actions happen. These other events happen. And step up into, step moving forward. It started to move. And the clock and the season, listen to this. You look at the face of a clock, you see that second clock just tick, 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 tick. And that's the time. That's time. Your clock and your time is by the time you put your feet hit the edge of the water, then the Red Sea will part. When you start operating in obedience, that's how you kick it off your clock. You could sit there all day and procrastinate all day, and your future will be sitting there procrastinating right with you because you are not stepping into. But when he says by faith, if it had taken Abraham however many days to go up that hill with Isaac, thus would be the delay. Because however long he took, he's setting the time on it. So on timeliness in the things that God tells you will ensure timeliness on the follow through and not missing. Because think of the earth realm as a giant gear clock, GEAR clock, where you see gears turning down here, affecting something way up in the corner, affecting something over there, and the gears are turning. You don't know how they're connected, but I can tell you what moves your gears is called by faith, the stepping into the obedience. The delay of the obedience, it was your blessing. You'll be surprised when you get to heaven and look back and see how many blessings were stuck mid-action because you didn't follow through with what He told you to do. And you procrastinating. You might be holding up a house or a husband or anything or a career or this or that. You don't know what you're holding up because of this stepping into right here, these steps that he tells you to take is because there's something attached to them. You can't possibly know what's attached to them. You know how everybody knows. I talked about this yesterday. Everybody knows chess. Have you ever seen a chess game when you're really good? They sit and look at the board and they know moves. They, pawn to this second, whatever it is, knight to such and such, and they tell you where it's supposed to go. And then they go, he moves, I move, he moves, I move, he moves, I move, he moves, I move. And you go back and forth, and you be up to several moves. And then there's checkmate. Same thing with the universe. You do not know what you're doing when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You just need to write that down. You do not know what you're doing when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. The enemy wants to distract you because it all looks the same to you. A quick dollar here versus a future, a blessed future, and what God's stepping you into over there. Do I take door number 1? Do I take door number 2? Do I take the thing I can see, or do I take the thing by faith over here? He always going to tell you to do the thing that may not appear with your eyeballs, with your eyes, to be sound, because in the physical it doesn't make sense. But your currency is not in the physical. Your currency is in the heavenlies. Your currency is that right there down there in Hebrew chapter 11 called faith. That's your currency. That's your currency. Faith and obedience on the small things, and then he'll make you ruler over many things. You never know what you're doing when you're doing it. You never know what you're messing up when you're not doing it. That's why you got to be all about, Lord, let me be timely on my obedience so that I cannot miss the blessing that you have. You're going to grow old. If you're lucky, you're going to grow old no matter what. But what could have been in the future and what is not in the future has to do with what you're doing now. People come out of high school. I don't want to go to college right now. I want to go later. Next thing you know, it's 10 years down the road. Could have had a PhD by now, but you kept procrastinating. Don't take your class. I'll do it later. I'll do it next time. It don't matter how long. You leave that thing right there. And if you have to nibble away at it like a rat on a piece of cheese, just keep on nibbling away at your future. One step, go in the right direction. Step into it. Consistency. Stay in it. Do not move. Do not move. Do not give up your spot. Sometimes you have to press in. You might have 10 things on your agenda, but don't give up where you are. Stay. Keep the land you already have possession of and move forward. Press in. By faith, you do not know. It's very much, but far more dynamic than the gears on a clock, because at least you can see the gears on the clock. This is dimensional gears within realms. Write that down. Dimensional gears within realms. You have no idea of what you are doing when you are obedient to the Almighty God, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Jehovah-Rapha, Jehovah-Nissi, that one. When you're faithful to him, you have no idea what he's doing on your behalf. You have no idea by stirring over here what you are generating over there. You can't possibly know. You can't even see tomorrow. How are you going to know what you're generating, that what blessings you're releasing into your children's lives? You don't know what you're doing when you're being obedient, but you better be, because you can't outdo God. I have no idea of what is happening with the blessings attached to Clear Passage. I have no idea, but I show up because he shows up, and I couldn't not do it. I hope when they put me, I don't know if I'm going to be cremated or not. I haven't figured it out. But if they put me in the ground, I might come back up on 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. I do not know. I might pop right back up. Oh, I got to get on the phone. I don't know. But it's like something I can't not do. And then this is something that of God you can't not do. Now, maybe he cuts the days down. I don't know what's going to happen. But I know that he consistently shows up. And blessings consistently go out. I can't tell. I had talked to somebody over the weekend. I can't tell you how many times people have said, I did this, and God blessed me right over here. I gave this, and God did that. I have no idea. but he consistently does an incredible manifestation. That, and you guys, I remember one of our prayer members was getting married in Laguna Beach, and we were on our way. And just before then, that day before, oh no, not it was that week. I had come up with a title on a book. I haven't done the book yet, called "God is the Cool Dude Standing in the Corner." God is a cool dude standing in the corner. At a party, there's always somebody that has a credible amount of conversation, but they don't just infuse themselves. You have to walk up to them and start talking, and you realize this is the coolest dude in the room. That's what the name of the book was. God is a cool dude standing in the corner. And we got to Laguna Beach, and there was a van. I have it on tape. There was a van that pulled in front of us as we were driving to the to Laguna Beach. Right, there's a space where the hills break up and you can see Ocean Boulevard. You can see the beach right in front of you, and it says "I am Dude," DUDE. And I was like, oh my God! It said God has a sense of humor, but a van just pulls right in front of us saying "I am Dude." Right while we were getting ready to get right to where the wedding was, I was like, "Oh my God, look at this!" And then we get on, and Lori tells us her cat's name is Dude, which is hilarious. But I mean, I hadn't had a dude conversation up until that time, but here he goes. The Lord was like letting you know I'm here. He sends you confirmation and verification all the time. I'm here, keep walking. I'm here, keep going. I'm here, keep pressing in. I'm here, I'm right with you. I'm behind you. I'm standing. I'm right here in the room. I was already here. I'm here. There you go. That's realizing that there's some substances that do not appear in the physical that are highly active and highly at work in the thing called your life. There's substances, highly dynamic infusions that will affect your life that you cannot see, but they are already there. And if you keep functioning as if it's already happening and it's already done, at the right time, the path will cross, the thing will happen, the ding will happen, the countdown will happen, and the final, what's supposed to happen will happen. Because there's a time and a season, there's a set date for every single thing. And I told you guys a story, and hold on, I'm trying to see how much time I have. Okay, here we have. I told you guys a story before, but it's true, because you have to realize how many things can go wrong, and when something goes right, how many other things could have happened. Just how many other things could have happened, even if you had done your part. How many other things could have zillions of other options of outcomes. But here again, it's that God is nurturing, just like little ducks. He moves you in, puts you over to the side, tells you go this way, this is the way, walk therein, and he nudges you, and he's really patient, because some little ducks will sit there in the middle of the street, and some ducks will keep on going. There's this duck parenting thing, who knows? But some of them will just walk right on along in a straight little line, and some of them will get distracted over to the side. He knows you. And you need to, he knows you, and God help us all, because he knows all of us. That don't mean stay that way. Just because he knows where you fall short, don't mean you keep falling short. You put yourself together. You can do better. I can do better. We all can do better. We're in a self-improving process. Do your part to make his job a little easier. Listen faster. Be obedient. Whatever he tells you to do, do it with excellence. Don't have to be reminded. Don't have to be told. Don't have to be whatever. Don't be that person. Operate in excellence, because then he's such a father. He's so patient. But you do better. I was having a discussion with my mother, and she said she was fussing, and she was going, "You know how I am. You know how I am." But people say that all the time. You know how I am. Yeah, you acting crazy. That don't mean stay crazy. Please. If you have enough sense to know that you're acting a certain way, why are you still doing it? Lord, fix me. That's a big first question on the day when you go in to pray. First person on the chopping block is you. Every time you pray, first person goes on the chopping block is you. Lord, Am I okay? Am I doing it like you want me to do it? Am I operating? I know I'm messing up over here. I'm going to work on that, and I need you to help me work on that because I want to improve. I want to be better yesterday. I want to be better today than I was yesterday. I want to function better. And some stuff you moving at such a microscopic process you can't even tell you to move the inch, or not inches, a mile for all practical purposes, but you've moved a milli-inch, whatever, little itty bitty micro, but it's still progress. So don't be that person. We can do better. We can do better. God is trying to give us blessings, and He's trying to get you prepared to receive a blessing, and you got to get yourself in shape to receive a blessing. Now, I done said a mouthful there. I don't know who. I feel like I stepped on somebody's toes, but some of you are praying for a husband, and you will not get up and walk 30 minutes a day. You won't do nothing to help him. And the man's not going to be blind. You at some point in time, if this thing goes in the right direction, you have to come out that girdle and come out them clothes, and God help you. Is that what you want him to see? Well, function as if. Function as if you're going to be married in however many months. Get that together. You know better. Do you want him? You don't want to be surprised neither. Get yourself to get it together. I know I done stepped on somebody. I know. I'm sorry. I just had to tell you. And I don't know who it is, but I know some of you are praying. Lord, send me the man. Okay, I will send him to you, but you need to get ready. Get yourself together. Look at the house. Get it together. Start moving stuff, giving stuff away, preparing to receive what you're asking him to send you. I am in somebody's serious business. Clean the refrigerator out, start cooking, find you some recipes, figure it out. Prepare. Why are you going to ask him? You want him to send you something and you're not even prepared to receive it. You want him to be a blessing to you. You need to be a blessing to him as well. Helping, getting rid of all the drama. Oh my God, I am all off into an area I do not want. Don't let me start down the street. Go, just get it together. And you actually, this is what people do, women especially. You walk by the mirror, you suck it in, and then as soon as you get out the view of the mirror, you just let it go. That's what everybody else sees. They don't see you sitting in the mirror looking at a certain kind of way and then thinking that's it. That's not how you walk around. You walk around with it all just everywhere and wonder what's the problem. It talks 30 to 45 minutes a day, every day, except maybe Sunday. Get on the road, and every time, Lord, thank you for my husband, thank you for my husband, thank you for my husband. While you're on that bike or on that treadmill, walking, jogging around that, whatever you're getting ready to do, get it together. Take an honest, hard look, because if you want brother man take an honest, hard look, you need to be taking an honest, hard look right now. I hope there's no men on the line. I don't know, but for real, you praying for something, you're not functioning as if. Function as if. You're going to have to cook. You should be looking at some recipes. You don't want to you need to be, I'm telling you, it's easy. This ain't no hard math here. There's some things that you can do. This recording is going to be published. I'm going to leave it right there. We will have another talk when I'm not being recorded. But don't just get ready. Next process, I know I have stepped on. I don't even know who it is, but I know I am deep in somebody's business. Anyway, next process. When you are asking the Lord, he is trying. You're praying for something, and He's going, I'm trying. Would you please? Because it's got to work out for everybody. It can't just be a win-win for you. It's got to be a win-win for him or them or those people. It's a blended situation. It's got to be a blessing for everybody. You got to be the blessing. You want Him to bring you a blessing. You got to be a blessing. going back to school, the thing I was getting ready to say, kids get out of school, like, oh, I don't want to go to school right now. 10 years is going to pass no matter what. That's that tick, 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 tick. 10 years is going to pass no matter what. What are you going to be doing for 10 years? Because you'll be 10 years older, but you could be 10 years older with a degree. You could be 10 years older or 1 year longer, and the job is done, or whatever it is you're supposed to have understood or get done is ready to go. Functioning as if means you prepare for the thing. You do your part, your little 10% or 5% or whatever God's part of the equation God has you doing. He's going to do all the rest, but you got to step into it by faith, without seeing or hearing or knowing anything, because I so believe God. Let me get ready, because I see that little fist of clouds. Let me jump. Let me get up myself, because I know God and I hear Him, and I know He's getting ready to start moving. So I'm getting ready to start running in the direction He told me to run in and get prepared. I'm sharpening my sword, sharpening His word. You want a man of God, you need to be studying the word yourself. Don't be sitting up there hooping and hollering. You don't know. You don't have no scripture in your gut and in your belly. You don't know the word. Because that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be praying over some things. You got to be. He might give you something in the raw, where He just says, if you fix this house, you could have it. You don't know how He's going to do it. It's not going to be traditional, I can tell you that. It'll be something unique. But God's got some blessings tucked away for a whole bunch of people on this prayer line, and you have to function as if. Get prepared for your blessing. Don't sit like He's telling you to get ready, like the foolish virgins, 5 foolish and 5 ready, and you haven't packed away no oil, you haven't had your bags packed, you didn't go get this, you weren't ready. And so you weren't ready, so don't ask because you wasn't ready. You asking for something and you sitting there like it ain't going to happen. If you believe God and you asked Him, start functioning as if. Get ready. Start running down the side of the road. I had a friend, 2 stories, and I'm going to get off for real and stop. Let me see what time it is. Okay. One of my friends, she went to school down the street from Harvard. She wanted her husband from Harvard. So she and her friend, which I think is brilliant, and you guys should, okay, let me just tell you this. I'm talking to somebody. The men hang out at Home Depot, at places where they sell big sandwiches, Lowe's, fixing things, construction stuff, car dealerships. They don't hang out at They don't hang out at Victoria's Secrets, and they don't hang out at the one you want is not at the club. But they're at church, but they're also in school. So they're also in school. They're in programs, PhD programs. There's places that the person that you want will probably be going around. They graze like deer. So if you want to hunt deer, where did the deer hang out? Figure it out. This is not hard. You have to be patient, but this is not hard. Okay, so she and her friend would do their homework on the front line of Harvard, in the student area of Harvard. So they would go over to Harvard, and that's what she would do her homework. She'd study on the weekends, study after school. She would do her homework on the lawn of Harvard, and guess who moseyed on by? Her husband's name is Christopher. Moseyed on by, and they're married to this day. He saw her, she saw him, but she was in position to actually be. So she was in college to walk down the street to Harvard, to be in the area where the thing could happen. Some of you are supposed to be in Bible school, looking for her. He might be sitting up in class waiting for you, and where is she? And you ain't even registered. Okay, so let me just get right back over here. Minding my business. Okay, so we're going to go to Hebrews chapter 11, because God has a sense of humor, so He might be telling you, I got him there. As soon as you ever pick up the paper and do what you're supposed to do, the stuff that's supposed to happen will start happening. Procrastination will get you in trouble. You don't really know what you're missing. That's all I'm saying. You don't know what you're missing by not doing what He told you to do. And the devil does know what you're missing. That's why he keeps you distracted. Don't be distracted. Be on point. Function as if with great concentration. So let me read the rest of this. Function as if it's coming Function as if it's done. Function as if it's at the next turn. Function as if it's coming. Function as if it's done. Function as if it's at the next turn. Be about God's, be about it. Be about God's business earnestly. That will turn the dial, and the seasons and the times of your life are dependent and contingent upon your obedience, not upon a clock. The clock is for the earth realm. Your clock is dictated by obedience. You don't do nothing, ain't nothing going to happen. You start doing something, something will start happening. God is not that part where, Lord, you do it first and then I'll follow you in. No, you do your part first and then he'll follow you. He's already got his stuff settled. He doesn't need time. You the one have to get yourself together. You're not cutting a deal with God. What did he tell you to do? Then be where he told you to do, standing where he told you to stand, doing what he told you to do, and then what's supposed to happen that you ask him to happen will happen. You do your part. God's already done his part. It's in the doing.